Recording in progress.
All right. Is everybody ready already?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's hit it. Hello, and welcome back to our humble little podcast. This is Atlantis After Dark, the greatest place in all of cyberspace. What does a nun do when she wants to have sex? She dresses up as a choir boy. I'll tell you guys what, I'm ready to go already. You guys are ready to go too. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it and meet today's all-stars. Warming up in the bullpen. Last night he was at the bar when his wife rang him. She said, "If you don't come home in 10 minutes, I'm giving your dinner to the dog." Well, he was home in 5. He'd hate for anything to happen to his dog. It's Biff by Adam West. What's the word, dude?
What's going on? I'm a little groggy after these idiots stole an hour of my weekend.
Yeah, crappy daylight savings day. Yeah.
Feels a little early.
Yeah, it feels a little more than early to me. It's God. We're all feeling the same pain, buddy. I guarantee it. On a crappy. Well, I suppose Witty isn't feeling it yet, but we can get to her in a minute. So she has a different daylight savings time than the rest of us, but I think that's a good question. I'll ask her here in a minute. But yeah, thanks, buddy. Welcome back to the show. We love having you as always. Next up, he is the Sorcerer Supreme of cyberspace. He tries to be a modern man and not get upset with his wife for using a dildo. He just wishes that she wouldn't use his. It's Retpmus. What's happening, Big Kahuna?
Oh, same old, same old. Just glad to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is it about yours that your wife... No, never mind. I don't want to know. That's a question I don't want to have answered.
Some stories are better untold.
Right. That's right. Mysteries.
Mine's battery operated. That's it.
Oh my God. All right. Well, thank you much for being on the show today. We are damn glad to have you as always. Last but not least, from the hidden isle of Themyscira. She was hiking on a trail one day when she saw a woman riding a bicycle. She pointed and yelled, "Cow!" But the other woman just turned around and gave her the finger and then plowed right into a cow. You can't say she didn't try. It's Witty Amazon. What's happening out there on Paradise Island?
Can't blame me for trying.
No, you can't blame her for trying at all. You tried to save that poor thing. So, let's get to the bottom of it. When is daylight savings time out there on Paradise Island?
The last weekend of March.
The last weekend of March. So you have yet to go through your daylight savings. You're on a whole different side of the world.
Yeah, but this time I'm actually psyched about it because I'll be at work. I'll be on my night shift and I'll be paid 8 hours to work 7. So it's just great.
Sometimes the universe answers in strange ways,
yeah,
right?
it does. But today I was expecting the podcast to start an hour later. So
Well,
yeah.
Well, we are trying to obey the laws of the universe. The sooner we get this over with. We've never had a podcast on daylight savings day. So this is interesting. This is kind of a unique experience for all of us. But, well, except for Witty. But I digress. Welcome, one and all, to the show. You are all fantastic, and I'm so damn glad you're here. And I don't really have any preamble ahead of time, except for the last episode of ABW did some pretty impressive numbers. So thank you to the community that listens to both. I appreciate it, and I'm sure that the kind man, I'll pass along word to him that he's doing a fantastic job as well. And we look forward to providing you some new content next week. Don't forget, we are going to review WrestleMania X7. That's 17 for those of you who can't count Roman numerals. And yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got, folks. Anyways, I can't wait. I am excited to get into some DC content this week because we are going to talk about some of our favorite DC films. And I opened it up to not just films on celluloid, but I'm talking films in animation as well. So if it came out anytime between the Batman serials and Aquaman 2, it's fair game, right? And I kind of wanted to do this because I wanted to get a feel for where everybody's fandom was. Not that I can't already take a guess, but it'll be kind of fun to illustrate. Maybe there's some differences, or maybe there's some unique or some interesting films that maybe we didn't expect that were out there. So I can't wait. I want to pounce right in. Who wants to, I'll ask for volunteers. Who wants to go first this time? If I don't get a
Are we
volunteer.
gonna say all three at once, or are we gonna start number 3 for all of us and then go from there?
You know, that's a good question. Let's do number 3. Let's do it one and around like that. What do
Okay.
you think, Woody?
Yeah.
Does that work
I
for
like
you?
that idea. That's a good idea.
I like that. Yeah. Let's do 3 and around. So that way I can pick one to start each one.
So we're starting on a third favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna start at our
Each
third
do
favorite.
number 3.
Right. So
All right.
everyone's doing their number 3, right? So I'm going to start with Retpmus.
Okay.
And why don't you give us your third favorite DC movie of all time?
I would have to go with Superman, Christopher Reeve's 1978 version.
Nice.
It was kind of like the very first superhero movie that I was ever introduced to.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Was young, and it just like, when you're that young, you always get a towel from the bathroom and you'd put it around your neck and you'd go through the house and pretend you're Superman. And it was just to see something on the screen, live action for the first time, and a guy flying around using his superpowers. It just amazed me,
Yeah.
At that time. Of course, it doesn't stand up to effects today, but it's that nostalgia and being like that first. And that's why it's like one of the top ones I have to choose. And Christopher Reeve, he's the legend.
Oh, yeah. And personally, I think it stands up. But, I mean, maybe not from an effects perspective.
Mhm.
But, I mean, the story stands up.
Oh, yes.
I can still watch that movie and enjoy it today. Matter of fact, I watch the Donner cut of Superman 2 quite often.
Yes, that's the one I would choose.
Yeah.
The Donner cut. And part 2, I mean, it was so hard to choose between the original and part 2,
Yeah.
because I love part 2 where it's him against other Kryptonians. So
Right.
it's like, man, this is so hard. But the first one is the one I watched so much
Right.
because it was the first one. That's the only reason that one kind of edged out the other one.
You know what I always thought was funny about Superman 2?
What?
Was that cellophane S that was on his chest?
Oh, I know.
That
And
he
peels
ripped
it
off and he
throws
throws it at Zod or Nan. I think it was
Yeah.
Nan. And it's like,
Yeah.
wow, what did that do?
Yeah. And you just see he falls down and
Oh,
gets up, and he's like,
he's like,
"Where's
oh,
it
dust
at?"
myself off. Yeah. What's up with that? That was a mild hit. Yeah. I don't understand that. Anyways, I just thought I'd bring that up. So Superman, the original I knew that was going to come up on somebody's list. I didn't think it was going to come up so soon, but
Yeah. It was a toss up between that one and 2, though. I
Right.
mean, it was so hard to choose.
right. Interesting. Well, that's the first take. I kind of want to take it over to Witty. What is your third favorite DC film of all time?
It was really tough to choose. Good. There's so many good ones, and they're special for different reasons. But for me, I've actually chosen different things for different positions. And in third place, I came up with Tim Burton's Batman from 1989.
Nice.
And it's the nostalgia alone it was a guaranteed third place. And until today, it's still my favorite Batman and my favorite Joker from that movie. I think it's very tough to beat, and you can actually watch that movie in 2024 and it will hold up its place amongst any Batman movie you've ever watched. So it's a clear winner.
Yeah, no, nothing to argue with there. I mean,
Yep,
I had
definitely
a hard
agree.
time, right? I mean, I'll be
Yeah.
honest, that almost made my top 3. Because
I still enjoy this movie to this day. I'll easily pick this movie to watch on a Saturday night and have fun with it. I've seen it countless times and I still enjoy it every time. So
if anybody
Was
else
well
calls you beast, I'll rip their lungs out. Love that film. Love that Joker.
Not like Superman from Retpmus speak, because I think I've watched it. I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I've never watched it ever since. So I barely remember the story.
Right. Well, I suppose the original Superman was an idealized version, I think, of Superman, and that's why it did so well for its day and age. You know,
Yeah, it was such a good boy. That's why
Yeah.
everybody loves that version, Christopher Reeve's version, I guess.
Right.
But it's not something I would want to watch today.
right. I can understand that.
I mean that came at a time where the idealized versions of all of these, from Linda Carter to
Yeah.
Adam West to, you know,
Mhm.
that was the thing then. That it was the wholesome superhero. It was Adam West holding back Robin and saying we have to wait for the light to cross the street
Right.
to fight crime.
Yeah.
Like, I always used to say
Right.
Adam West taught me more about being a good person than my parents did. So they're all very idealized.
Well, I think that is a fantastic choice, Witty, and I can't wait to see what the rest of your choices look like. But I want to shift over to Senior Biff over there, Senior Biff in the Bank, and I want to find out what his third favorite film of all time is.
Yeah, so I had 3 written down at the beginning.
You
of
had
the week.
3 number 3s?
No, I had.
Oh,
no, I had
okay,
3 movies written down, but then I decided 2 of them I wanted to rewatch before the show.
Right.
Just to either confirm or they're ones I haven't seen in a while. And very disappointingly, I eliminated one last night from my list because I watched it and it just didn't hit like I remember it hitting. And so this was not on my list, but it was the Batman 66 movie.
Okay.
I had it on my original list. I watched it last night and I was really disappointed. Like it is so poorly done.
Yeah.
And so like even the graphics were bad. Like they didn't have the bubbles of Biff and they just had words on the screen.
Yeah.
Like it looked like it was so poorly done and you expect it to be goofy and ridiculous and bizarre like Batman 66, but it was overly so. Like it
Yeah.
was almost to the point where it was ridiculous. Like they're crashing the Batcopter and they end up landing in the middle of a foam rubber wholesalers convention. And that's what saves them. Like it was so
Right.
goofy.
Yeah.
You know, Lee Merriweather as Catwoman, I didn't like her as much as, you know, the GOAT. So that got knocked out last night.
Okay.
So my number 3, and I'm glad we're all remote and no one can throw vegetables and fruits at me and all of this because this was not a movie that got a lot of pub. But I'm going to describe it for you without telling you what movie it is, and I don't understand why. It has multiple Oscar winners. It is the most star-studded cast in the history of DC movies. Its soundtrack, one of the songs in the soundtrack won Song of the Year by the Grammys. Like this was a big, I mean, Nicole Kidman, Drew Barrymore, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey,
Oh no.
Batman Forever.
Batman and
Oh
Robin.
no.
No,
Forever.
Batman Forever.
You're right. You're at a safe distance.
Yeah, no, but it's. I thought it is so fun. I think Jim Carrey is perfect for the Riddler, the goofy
Yes.
Riddler. I mean, he does the dark
He does
and
a
the
good job.
goofy. He does both sides of the Riddler in one movie. You know, Batman, you say? I am counting on it. You know, like he's perfect. Tommy Lee Jones is great. You know, the Bat's stubborn refusal to expire is driving us insane. Like they were good. You know, one ironic thing when I was looking at it is in Val Kilmer, I believe is also a good Batman. I believe Val Kilmer got robbed of an Oscar in Tombstone.
Mhm.
And I look because I was looking up how many Oscar winners were on this cast, and I was surprised Val Kilmer didn't get one. For what was his character's name? Not Wyatt Earp, the other one. It's escaping me, but he played an absolute fabulous. It's a Western movie. Val Kilmer was unbelievable. So I looked up who won Best Supporting Actor the year of the Tombstone, and it was actually Tommy Lee Jones. winning
Wow.
it for what's that movie? The Fugitive.
Okay.
So Tommy Lee Jones is an Oscar winner. Nicole Kidman is an Oscar winner. I mean, you have Drew Barrymore. A wonderful cast. I found the villains to be perfect, and it just to be a fun movie. And I
It
know
was.
didn't get good
It's a
reviews.
solid pick. You're not gonna get vegetables from us.
Okay. Well, no, but like
I'm,
if you review it, if you look at the reviews, it's like considered like one of the worst Batman movies of all time, and I don't get it.
I mean,
Oh,
it's arguably an old movie. I mean, people nowadays care much more about explosions and special effects, suits, all of that stuff. But in all truthness, this is a very fun movie to watch. And as a matter of fact, of all of the Batman movies from the 80s and the 90s, only the one with Schwarzenegger, that one is a bad movie, truly. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
others are all fantastic films.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Riddler and Two-Face playing Battleship, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Super
like
fun.
it's just fun. It's just like I
Yeah,
just
and
sat there
and
and I
and
laughed and I
I
enjoyed
just
it.
love Jim Carrey, so it's an automatic win.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that is, I know it's not reviewed well, but I don't understand why. I just had fun watching it. I watched it on Friday night, and I just laughed.
You know what, man? I don't like that movie, but good for you, man, because you get to enjoy something I don't. So,
Yeah.
fucking A.
Let me ask the quick question. What
Sure.
was it about the movie that you didn't like?
Probably
'Cause
the
you're not
opposite of
alone.
everything that you said. You know, we had such a good run
Okay.
with the Keaton Batman, and then it was veering into a more serious tone, and then it's almost like instantly it turned into the 60s Batman 66 just with different costumes.
Yeah, but I don't think Val Kilmer played a Batman 66 Batman.
The villains were
maybe
certainly as
showed up
campy
that way.
yes.
But the Batman certainly
So they
wasn't.
weren't. First of all, if they're portrayed that way, they're not really a credible threat. I'll say this: is it fun to watch? Yeah, it's fun to watch, but that's not what I want to see.
Okay,
You know,
that's fair.
So I mean, that's just, yeah. Don't take my whole thing.
By the way, I think they did do a decent job setting up Robin. I mean, I know Batman and Robin was a flop, but I think they did a good job with the death of his family and tying in Two-Face and the circus. And I thought they did a good job with that movie. And I just, you know, I just enjoy watching it. It's one of the ones where I see it, like what you said earlier in hers. When I see it on TV, I'll tune it in.
Well, I'll say this for it: if I'm going to say something positive about it, it had no bat nipples. So that's what I'll say about that film. Positive. Okay. So thank you for your number 3, pal. I suppose it's my turn, isn't it?
Yes.
So my first up for this film, I'm going to be the first one with an animated film up for my number 3. And the reason for it is because it's also one of my favorite comics of all time. And that is the Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox.
Oh, nice.
Right. I mean, now this is one of my favorite animated, in fact, it is my favorite animated movie of all time. And yes, it does trump Mask of the Phantasm, even though I love me some Mask of the Phantasm. And the reason for this is because it explores a different side of the DC universe. That being this Flashpoint world that's created whilst, you know, Barry saved his mom from certain death. It's always been one of my favorite stories. Actually, Flashpoint is the first absolute comic edition I ever bought. So, you know, that should say something about how much I love it. I always love the Thomas Wayne stuff. The fact that Bruce gets killed in the alley as opposed to, you know, Martha and Thomas, and then, you know, of course, Thomas becomes Batman and Martha Wayne becomes the Joker is just fantastic. I mean, that is some of the most compelling storytelling that I've ever heard, to the point where Martha goes up and lays a trap, quote quote unquote, for Batman, just to basically hear that, you know, this world isn't supposed to exist, and that once Batman puts everything right, then their son will be alive. And of course, then the news that, you know, Martha asks, you know, Thomas, you know, tell us what Batman or what Bruce does in the future. And he's like, well, he follows in his father's footsteps. And she's like, oh, he becomes a doctor? And he's like, no, not quite. And that makes her go more insane. It's crazy. It's just insane, but I love it so much. This was a film, they didn't stray too far from the source material, which I like, because once you have a good story, you don't need to mess with it too much. But the whole thing where Barry creates this sort of, and this is the only part I don't get about this, and I've always had trouble kind of understanding it how, is how he goes back to save his mom, creates a scenario where Martha and Thomas Wayne survive the shooting in Crime Alley. Like, I don't understand the causality there. You know, there's a time difference that doesn't make sense in my mind, but, you know, maybe somebody can explain that to me later on.
Well, it's probably just the whole multiverse thing. Like, things happen different in each multiverse.
Sure.
Maybe that's it.
Sure. It's just, I thought that, you know, there had to be some kind of causality between, you know, Bruce being shot versus his parents,
Right.
and Flash's mom being saved from death, you know.
Yeah.
But despite that flaw, I still love it, right? And that's something I've thought about a lot, but I'm not going to let that cloud my judgment here. This was probably, not probably, I like what they did here. They didn't stray too far from the source material, and I would recommend this version of the film 1,000,000 times over that absolute dumpster fire of flaming dog shit, The Flash, with the microwave babies and all that crap. Don't watch that one, kids. Watch this one. Watch this one. You'll be so much happier. You'll be so much more thankful that you did. Anyways, and I'm not saying that to poo-poo on Keaton's Batman. I think he was the best part of that whole Flash film. But, you know, for me, for my tastes, that's it. The Flashpoint Paradox from Justice League. That's my number 3. Boom.
I mean, it's a very solid one. I was gonna pick it for my number 2, actually, because everybody knows that Flashpoint Paradox is one of my favorite storylines, like, ever.
Right.
But I actually decided to go with a different one for my number 2, and it's an animated movie as well. But yeah, I think you made a solid pick there. It's easy. I mean, it's top 3 on my animated movies. I think only the new ones cannot live up to.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the animated movies go, from 2020 on forward, they've been a little, you know, they lost a bit of quality.
Yeah.
But that one is one of the oldest, from 2013, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's 2014, I
and
think, but yeah.
It still holds up a lot better than the new ones.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I would say too. Like the newer animated films that are coming out have been lacking.
If they got that movie and put it in live action frame by frame, I guarantee it would be a hit.
Oh yeah, I do too.
Yeah, definitely.
It holds up so well.
Absolutely. So since we're here then, Miss Witty, why don't you tell us what your number 2 is right out of the gate?
Yeah, for my number 2, I got an animated movie as well. Justice League versus the Teen Titans.
Nice.
It's from, I don't know what year is it. I think 2016. It was after the Flashpoint Paradox.
It was, yeah.
I think. And it's the Justice League is possessed with this Trigon entities or demons, and the Teen Titans get to fight the Justice League and free them from Trigon's control. You get to see them fighting Trigon, fighting the Justice League, and it's an all-time fun because you get to see the 2 best DC teams fighting each other, and it's everyone's dream to see them together in the same movie.
Yeah. Isn't Raven, I don't want to spoil it for anything, but isn't she sort of the hero of the film?
I think the Titans are, because they get to free the Justice League. Some of them end up helping each other, but they go and trying to save Raven from Trigon. They didn't know that he was her father.
That's it.
And all that. So it's a good story. It's great action, and it's the 2 best DC teams that ever created together in the same movie.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's been a long time since I've seen that one too. And now that you mentioned it, I'm gonna have to go back up and rewatch it here. But I think that's a fantastic pick. You know me and my animated films. I think that's how, I roll. I much prefer the animated films to the live action
Yes.
in some
Yes.
regards. They can't fuck them up as much. But yeah, I'd say that's a solid pick for number 2. Have you guys ever seen that perchance, or are you guys not into the? I think Retpmus may have, but I don't
Oh
think.
yeah, definitely. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Poor Biff over there. He's like, no, I don't watch the animated stuff.
I don't watch a lot of animated stuff.
Yeah, I know.
watched. By the way, one thing I did realize is Return of the Cape Crusaders, the Batman '66 animated film, was much better than the live action one. I will say that.
Right on. Well, it sounds like you're getting ready to tell us what your number 2 film is there, Mr. Biff.
So my number 2, I might have to duck and dodge some more tomatoes here.
It's Batman and Robin this time, right?
No, I went completely different, from fun and enjoyable to dark and critically acclaimed. I picked the Joker.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I think that it's a different type of movie. I don't even believe I've watched it a second time, and this is in my top 3, because I feel like you have to be in a mood to enjoy this film. Like, it just has to be different. It has to be, but it's just chilling. It takes on real social implications, and they've gotten a lot of negativity towards it and a lot of positivity. I actually this morning read a study, an actual study about this movie, from like what is it from? It's like from a real like mental health like worldwide organization that did a study on this film, analyzing what they knew about the Joker and trying to diagnose him, as far as it was fascinating. But there were so many people quoted in it saying, this movie hurt the stigma of mental health. This movie, made people afraid of, people with mental health issues. This movie possibly made people glorified someone's ability with issues like that to do what he did. And I don't buy any of that, because there's so many movies with just awfulness happening, and that doesn't mean we've created serial killers. There was actually this British neurocriminologist that actually uses clips from the movie to teach his students, because he believes this was such a good representation of the mind of a murderer. And so it was chilling. It was, so watching a criminal slow descent into madness, I thought was just awesome. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix won the Oscar that year. I mean, geez. I mean, I talked about Oscars from other movies in my first one, but this one got Best Actor. Like, and one thing that, I did pick up on, and I have read stuff that that confirmed this, is the Joker's look in that movie that, was an homage to Cesar Romero in Batman '66.
Yeah.
Like the outfit, it was intentionally done. And by the way, no 2 different Jokers in the world and Cesar Romero in the movie in this film and the one in this film. But I found it just fascinating from a psychology standpoint. I was a psychology minor in college. Just watching that movie and watching all the bits and pieces of what made him become who he became, from head trauma early on to abuse to bullying.
Yeah.
I as I said, I've only seen it once, but that day I watched that I was in the mood to watch that. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hell of a movie. I'll give you that. It's one of those things where that's a film, and we can, well, we'll talk about it in a bit too, but I think it's the most poignant film that DC's ever made. Highlighting something as serious as mental illness while taking a hold of societal issues can be challenging, but it's pulled off brilliantly here. And I'm with you. I don't buy into the whole, deal that, we're ruining society by portraying, people as violent with mental illness and things of that nature, when there's plenty of other violence all throughout, both nature and humankind. My God, just think about the carnage that happens every single day.
Right.
It's silly. It's just a silly argument.
And there are people, when I read this study, that said the way this was written, it made him heroic.
Right. No.
And I don't buy that for
no,
a
it did not make him
like
heroic.
I can buy maybe sympathetic. You made him a sympathetic victor because of all the bullies and because of all the people that did that, but heroic, no. There was no time I viewed him as the hero.
No, and I'd say this about this, and there isn't a higher or larger narrative, in my opinion. Here, it's just that the Joker is a killer, and I have a hard time levying pity for someone who killed their mother or who went on a murdering spree. So, in my opinion, he's not sympathetic as much as he is irredeemable.
I say, I wrote down the word sympathetic. I use sympathetic more than I would heroic.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
Because there are people that said
nothing heroic. Yeah, nothing heroic about it.
That it made him the hero of the movie, and that I don't buy one bit.
Well, people are delusional, so they can eat a sack of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, that's a great number 2. I never thought I would say that to you ever, dude. That's a great number 2.
I agree.
Retpmus, what's your number 2?
All right, this one, it's really off the wall. But this is the way this is what I was thinking about. I took a different spin on this. A movie that you could watch over and over and over, and it's always enjoyable to you. One that you can watch with the family, and it's just pure fun. And I'll probably get a lot of flack for this one, but it's Red, with Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, John Malkovich, Helen Mirren. Yeah.
I didn't know that was a DC movie.
Yeah, it is.
Neither did I.
Oh.
Yes.
I saw that on the list. I saw that on the list of, because I pulled like the Rotten Tomatoes, like all-time DC movies, and I did see it on the list, and I didn't know it was DC until.
Yeah, it's actually Wildstorm, which is under DC Comics. But look, like I was saying, you've got Bruce Willis, and you got Morgan Freeman, John Malkovich, Helen Mirren. They're all greats.
Mm-hmm.
And when you watch it, it's just a fun movie. And the sequel was fun as well. But it was just one of those movies that no matter when it's on, I can sit there and just watch it over and over and not be bored of it. And it's one of my wife's favorites as well. And Mary Louise Parker in it, she's hilarious as well. I think she had a show, I forget what it was called, but she had her own TV series at one point where she sold like marijuana or something, and she tried to make a living.
Oh, Weeds.
Yeah, that's it. She was great in that too. She's hilarious, because she's this naive little person at first, and then she turns out to be like, she gets addicted to this adrenaline rush, and it's classic Bruce Willis type movie, but it's a fun movie that everybody can enjoy. And it was just that factor of the constant watchability to me. Like, there's some movies that I absolutely love, kind of like how Biff was saying, I only seen it once, never watched it again, but it was fantastic. But this one, I can watch it over and over and over and not tire of it. And that's why it holds the number 2 spot for me.
Impressive. Impressive.
Just for that reason.
You know, here's a factoid. This is an AB factoid. I have never seen Red.
Oh, really?
Nope, never seen. I didn't know it was DC. I've never seen it. I had no intention of ever watching it either, but now I might change my tune.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to watch part 2 as well.
Okay.
Fact number 2, I had never watched Red nor Joker, so
Oh.
Oh.
You've never seen Joker either, Witty?
no.
Wow.
I never felt the appeal.
Wow. Okay.
It's heavy.
It's
is
not
heavy.
exactly a character that I like. And
Okay.
the story, as far as I know, is kind of heavy, and it's not exactly a comic book movie in its classical sense. So it has no appeal to me. And the second one will have even less because it's a musical. So
Yeah.
I'm not watching the
I don't know
second
about
one
that
either.
shit. I don't know if I'm going to watch the second one about singing and dancing and shit. I suppose that's my turn, isn't it? Let's see. My number 2, and this is my number 2 for sentimental reasons, and there's a reason. Well, I'll tell you the reason behind it. I didn't lose interest in it, right? But comic books were something that I kind of shuffled off to the side as I grew into my manhood, if you will. I was far more interested in finding out what was behind the pages of Betty than the pages of Superman. So you can about imagine, I didn't go to a lot of superhero movies at that time. So I'm laying on the couch. This is probably 2, 3 in the morning. Laying on the couch after a date, I believe, which did not go very well. All things considered. I mean, I was there laying on the couch by myself, right? So it couldn't have gone that fucking great. And I'm just flipping through channels, and I start watching this crime drama, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? But it hooks me. And I realized it's got Christian Bale in it. It took me about 20 minutes to figure out that this was a Batman film. And then I wondered to myself, well, how did this slip off my radar? And I instantly loved it, and I made it my mission to DVR the whole movie so I could watch it from beginning to end, and it was called Batman Begins. And that was the singular movie that made me fall back in love with being a comic book fan again, and just kind of embracing it. That was the film that lured me back into my nerddom. It proved that I could balance being a total dweeb while still being a hot commodity for the ladies. I just had to hide my DVD collection. I had to hide my comics. But no, through the latter half of my man whoring phase, that's what I would do. I was a man whore. You have no idea how much of a man whore I was. But no, and of course, after the fact, Batman, Dark Knight came out after that, and The Dark Knight Rises. I mean, that whole trilogy is just a fantastic film series to me, but none of them hold up. And I know that, the Dark Knight is the popular one, but the Batman Begins for me is where it's at. That was about as close to / perfect to a year one Batman story as you're ever going to get. I just thought it was fantastic. I mean, it was just it was equal parts thriller and crime movie, and it was even scary. It had horror film aspects to it, with Scarecrow coming out, and the especially the one with the thug is backing down the alley, and he's like, "Where are you? Where are you?" And all of a sudden you hide behind him, you go, "Here," and it's fantastic because it scares the shit out of you. I loved it. It was like a jump scare. But no, there were so many little elements of that film that just make me pop out of my seat and be a fan again. Especially because it had been so long since I've seen a good Batman film. But yeah, that would be my number 2. That's my number 2 choice, is Batman Begins, and it's for personal and selfish reasons. Not only that, but
that one. That one was definitely on my radar. And as you said, it's brilliantly done that you could be watching it for an extended period of time and not know it's a Batman movie.
Right. Yeah.
And I love origin stories, so that's, that was
Oh yeah.
a really.
Oh yeah, and it was done really well. The Ra's al Ghul thing, and
Yep.
they made great use of what's his name, Liam Neeson, the Northern Irish fella. Yeah, they made great use of him.
Yeah, but it was odd for Liam Neeson because it was a movie that had 2 words in the title. So he
was taken.
he had to bite off a lot there because he's used to just that one line.
Right. I have a specific set of skills, Batman. Oh boy. So that seems to round us out to our big number 1 spot. And I don't know. Who do I want to go first? Who
I
hasn't
can go
gone
first.
Retpmus, why don't you go first, buddy? You haven't gone first yet.
All right. Well, this one, it's the same type of thing of like Red. It's a movie it's a big superhero movie, did very well, and I can watch it over and over and never tire of it. But it was so hard to choose a number 1 because I love all the Superman movies.
Mhm.
Henry Cavill's one of my favorites. I like the Snyder cut of Justice League very much. I've watched that so many times.
Yeah.
There's a few things I would still cut out of it, but I mean, I just love the whole story.
You mean you don't want the extended version of the women singing Aquaman into the ocean?
That's the part I would cut out. That's like the only
Definitely.
part I would cut out of that. But overall, I
Christmas.
absolutely loved that movie so much. But overall, I think I have to choose the original Gal Gadot Wonder Woman as my number 1.
Okay.
And one of the things that makes that so fun to me, and I could watch an entire series of this, is Lily Espel, the young Wonder Woman actress. Seeing young
Yeah.
Diana going through all the stuff she did, the mischief she got in trouble with, she was so cute and adorable. I mean, I would love to see an entire series off of her. But not that she stole the whole show, but she kind of did from me. It was just like that cutesy humor, and you just rooted for her to get away with the stuff that she was doing.
Like a little
And
scamp, yeah.
yeah,
They should call they should call the TV series. They should call it Princess of Themyscira.
yeah, there you go. Right. And of course, well, Gal Gadot rocked it as Wonder Woman. There's
Oh,
no
yeah.
doubt. I think it's overall, I think it's probably of all the newest DC movies, I think it's the best. It's the most well done out of all of the new ones. I know you guys will probably disagree with me, but I just think it is. The
No.
story pulls you in. You really enjoy the story. The character development is very well done.
Yeah.
It was great. And now I don't know what happened on the next one, but this first one, it's my favorite because I can literally watch this every time it's on TV. If it's on and we're flipping through the channels, we'll just stop it and watch it. It's one of those movies to me. And that's why it got my number 1 pick.
Nice. And I don't fault you for making that a number 1 pick. That is just as fantastic a choice as any. I could easily see that being a number 1 pick for hundreds of people. It wouldn't be my number 1 pick. I know what my number 1 pick is going to be, but it's your number 1 pick. So, but no, I mean, I totally get it. And I said the same thing. I thought Wonder Woman was probably either number 1 or number 2 of all the modern films that they did. Was probably the best one. It's a tie between that and, for me, Man of Steel.
Yes,
Man of Steel is a tie.
I really hated not having Man of Steel up there, and I wanted to, but then I thought about it like all the movies that I would sit there and watch over and over. Would I watch Man of Steel more than I would this one? And I just wouldn't.
Yeah. Well,
Wonder Woman's like the Shawshank Redemption of DC movies.
It is. It's
Like
always on TNT.
whenever you see it on, you just tune in.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's that.
It's always on TNT.
Right.
Yep.
Back to another Morgan Freeman reference.
Oh boy, oh boy. Well,
And I still would love to see a young Diana Princess series. That would be so great.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun. So what would it be? A series, a serious show, or would it be like a sitcom? Would you have like narrated like young Sheldon? Have
Yeah,
her come in
that
and
would be
do the
Narrated
narration?
by Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot, yeah.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. They should do that.
Well, there you go. There's your idea. Write WB and tell them to make it happen.
Before she gets too old, get it now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Oh boy. Well, thank you very much for your top 3 list there, Mr. Retmus. I think that was a fine list. And like I said, I've never seen Red, so I'm going to have to go back and watch that now. I didn't realize it was DC. It never held my interest to watch it. So, fine picks. Let's go to Biff. Let's make you the number 2 guy here, and let's make you tell us what your number 1 DC film of all time is.
Well, I'm gonna be able to speed this episode up because I don't have anything to add. Mine's Wonder Woman.
Okay. Wow. That's a twofer.
Yeah. So it's just one of those movies, like just the villains, Dr. Poison, Ares, I thought were great.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot was great. Everything Retmus said, I'll just ditto. As I said, it is my DC Shawshank Redemption. There's not a time where I see it go across where I don't just click, go there. And yeah, I think it's the best, as you said, I think in modern, it's not, it's
Right.
It's the best thing they've done. I watched Wonder Woman 84 the other day, or 84 or 88, whatever it is. I don't know. The second one, I watched it to give it a second chance, and it was better than the first time I watched it in the theater. But yeah, the first one was just so well done from start, as Retmus said, to finish. Like
Yeah.
I just felt like the whole movie was captivating, entertaining, action.
Yeah.
I kind of did everything here. I went from goofy to dark to total package.
No, but that's respectable. I mean, you're varied in your responses. So, and by the way, I think your top 3 is phenomenal. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Oh boy, is that a Meatloaf song? So I'm going to ask an obvious question then. Witty, are we going to make this a trifecta?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I went with the classics for the 3rd spot, the animated for the 2nd one, and I had to go modern day movie. And even if it wasn't modern day, I think it's the best movie from DC. It's Wonder Woman. It's
Right.
great cast, great chemistry between the leading actors, the scenery, the nods to the ancient worlds and ancient gods, the war against the Germans. It had a little bit of everything. It was light, it was fun, it was action packed. And they did an absolutely great job of reversing the traditional superhero role and the supporting role from male to female and vice versa.
Yeah.
And that for me was fantastic. The
Yeah.
only bad thing about it was that final boss fight, but I think we can overlook that. In the overall, it's just a fantastic movie, and I've watched it countless times, and I would recommend it to anyone. And so far, everyone liked it.
Yeah, no. And I hear what you're saying about, switching the roles between
Yeah, I think it's the
heroine
first time we see that on film, right?
Well, it is, but it was also done in such a way that it didn't insult anybody, which I think is,
Yeah.
especially in today's temperament, is, an achievement in and of itself.
Yes,
Nobody
definitely.
looked weak. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying. And it seems to me like 3 against 1 is the way it's going to be today, because
You can always join the pack and say
I
it's
can. I can always join the pack.
Unlike the Joker, no one claimed that this movie glorified Nazis.
Right?
fun.
Right? Or drug-addled Nazis, for that matter.
Exactly.
No. So this is where I'm going to make everyone's life really easy, and it was Biff who surprisingly took a little bit of this thunder. But my favorite DC movie is Joker. and for all the reasons that you listed previously, that I could say ditto to everything you said. And, you know, some things that I would add on to it. Like I said before, I think it's the most poignant movie that DC's ever made. I think that it's tough to try to highlight some of these injustices, mental illness, social injustice, whatever the case may be, and try to highlight someone's real struggles with them. And you're right, he does start off as a sympathetic character, but you know, all that sympathy goes out the window when he kills people, you know. And just the fact that he went on to I guess you could say it was a national television program, and did what he did, illustrates, you know, where his frame of mind is. And it ain't good. You know, here's a guy who's been basically fucked by the system, and for whatever reason, never got the help that he really needed. Which is why he turned out the way he did. And
I
it's
think
sad.
that as a positive, that shines a light on the system.
It does.
And how he couldn't get the medication he needed. He couldn't
Right.
get the support he needed.
And that's the timeless, and the funny thing is that is the timeless argument that has always been made throughout any kind of entertainment media. You can take a look at it. Eventually he got to the point where he was stuck in Arkham Asylum, you know, at the end of the film, where, you know, they're asking him questions about what he did. And further to the point, the very last thing you do is you see him murder somebody. We don't know how or with what, but there's enough blood all over the place that he's tracking it through the hallway. And I think that's one of the more interesting aspects of this. Did that really happen? One of the things that I liked most about that film is that you learned the Joker is not a reliable narrator.
Yes.
And as you go through, like, you see is like his neighbor who he has an infatuation with, and, you know, all of these things are just creepy and subversive and disgusting and depraved. And you realize that, you know, the dude can't help it. That's just the way he is, but he doesn't want to help it. It's interesting. It's just such a weird character study. It's such a brutally honest film. That's why I like it so much. Because it is brutally honest. There it is, warts and all. Here it is. It's ugly, but watch it, because you can't not watch it. I don't know how to describe it. It is chilling. Yeah.
It's chilling, and it's, to your point, poignant. I actually really enjoyed this morning reading that article, which was published in like a real health journal.
Right.
This morning. It's called "Analyzing Joker: An Attempt to Establish Diagnosis for the Film Icon." And they talk about like everything they know, and then obviously everything they don't know, and try to diagnose his mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really interesting, because it's a very professionally done study and breakdown. And I enjoyed just reading that, like, this morning, because it's just someone that has a psychology background was.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that's one of the reasons why I was brought into that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're into the psychology of anything, you're going to be interested in this film, but certainly. Yeah, and I don't want to end this thing on a downer, so yeah, the Joker kills people. Hey, happy DC comic book, everybody! All right. I don't want to leave this on a downer, so what I'm going to do, if you'll indulge me for just a moment, we're going to give this a try, and either this is going to be great podcasting, or it's going to suck something awful. But I would love to get you guys to do a superhero Mad Lib with me. And if you haven't done these before, hey, by the way, I'll skip the thing. Have you guys done Mad Libs before? Has everybody
When I
here
was a
done them
kid.
when you were a kid? Witty, have you done
Yeah.
Mad Libs?
No, never.
No. Okay. So Mad Libs is a book. It's a little booklet like this, and you flip it up, and it's got a story, like a tiny little story there, with all these blanks in it. And I basically have to ask you guys for a word. I'll ask you for an adjective, a verb, or a verb ending in ing, or a part of the body, wherever you land, right? And you guys give me not necessarily the first thing that pops into your mind, but whatever you think is going to be appropriate for the story we're going to tell. I don't care if you're filthy. I don't care if you're clean. Just give me a word. And I will start with Biff, and we'll go Biff, Retpmus, Witty, Biff, Retpmus, Witty. So we'll start with Biff, and I need an adjective, sir.
Oh boy, I didn't realize we were having English class.
Hurry quickly.
Adjective. Speedy.
Well, of course, it'll help.
That's an adjective, right?
Yes.
Yeah. An adjective just describes a noun or a pronoun.
Right.
Okay, that works.
Okay, I need Retpmus. I need a verb.
Crap.
Crap. Got it. Okay, moving on.
Crap is a noun.
Well, crap can be a verb. I took it. Oh, yeah. No, we've already settled on crap. We're moving on. Witty. I need a verb ending in ing.
A verb ending in ing.
Yeah, like running, swimming, fucking, dunking.
Okay. Approaching.
Approaching. Got it. And I need part of the body. Biff.
Leg.
Leg.
I could have went dirty there.
You could have. Let's see here. I need an adverb from Retpmus.
I'm not good at this.
You're not good at this.
No, I mean, there's too many things that.
Adverb.
Very.
Varied. Okay.
Oh, very. What is what's the definition of an adverb?
It is
like
a word that describes.
modifies.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
It describes a verb. So if I'm saying Biff was happily fleeing the crime scene, happily would be the adverb.
Okay.
You know, like very or.
Yeah, very was the one that came to my mind right away.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I haven't been in an English class in quite some time.
I can
Oh,
tell.
me too.
Wow. I wouldn't have known this. Maybe I should have.
I have a hard time thinking because my mind just like sees the Matrix, little things going everywhere, and I'm like, what do I choose?
All right.
I'm
Witty,
better
I
at
need
math.
another.
I'm better at math than English.
Well, we're only half done, so that's the good news. Witty, I need another verb ending in ing or ing.
Biting.
Fighting?
Ooh,
Yes.
nice.
That's a good one.
Glad I didn't use the dirty noun.
I need a color. Biff.
Blue.
Biff gets the easy ones.
No, I'm not. By the way, thrilled I just got color.
Retpmus, I need an adjective.
Okay. Fun.
Fun. Okay. I need a noun, Biff.
I wasn't ready for mine. Helmet.
Oh, is it Witty's turn?
I think it was.
Oh, it's Witty's turn. I'm sorry. Witty, I need a noun. Person, place, thing, or an idea.
A place, thing, or an idea.
Yep.
Blood.
Blood it is. And now, Biff, I need an adverb.
I'm going to go very.
Very?
That's
Okay.
the only one I know.
Very, very.
Very,
Very,
very.
very. All right. Now, each one of you will provide me a noun. Retpmus, starting with you.
Bird.
Bird. Witty.
Cookie.
Cookie. Sounds delicious to me. And finally, Biff.
Helmet.
Helmet. All right. Our story is now complete. I shall read the results.
By the way, I agree with you at the beginning. This is either wonderful podcasting
Right. It's either,
or complete flop.
people at home are like, God, this sucks. Right?
Complete flop. One of the two.
So if you're with us this long, folks, thank you very much. We're going to read this thing out.
Yeah, now you get paid off.
Right.
For
Now,
staying with us
this is
till
the
end.
payoff, right? All right. Special report to the Daily Planet by Lois Lane. The speedy quiet of the afternoon was broken by a crap for help after the safety harness of a construction worker approaching on the 87th floor of Metropolis Tower malfunctioned. The man held on to the building's scaffolding with one leg, while his friends tried to save him. Before they could reach him, the man lost his grip and began to fall very fast toward the ground, when suddenly a blue and red figure came fighting out of the clear blue sky. Wow, that was a serendipitous. It's going to be fun, a woman cried. The man of blood swooped in on the following mass as a very and bird, that doesn't even make any sense, swooped in to save the falling man as a bird. Interesting. On the street, people gave a cheer for the cookie of Metropolis, who had once again saved the helmet. And that is your Mad Lib.
It's your TC Mad Lib.
Straight out of Arkham Asylum.
Yeah. It's sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not. It's I don't know. I don't think
Something
that's
you never knew
at
you
first
wanted,
they
but
were
just got.
they were on track.
Yeah, at first they were on track, and then we got into cookies and.
Well, I got. Hey, listen, I rocked the blue sky.
You did. That was a very
I
serendipitous.
got that one good.
Yeah. But anyways, there's your upper note for the week. We didn't end on the downer, and I don't know if we'll ever do superhero Mad Libs again. I don't know.
Depends perspective there.
Yeah. Anyways, let's take it around the horn and get everybody's final word, and we will start as always with Mr. Retpmus. Take us to church, pal.
I just want to say I've said things like this in the past, but try and spend some time with people you care about and your loved ones, because you don't know how much time you have. It just it kind of really breaks my heart, because in our family recently we've had a lot of deaths. Like within the past few months, there's been like 6 deaths in our family. And the most recent one was my nephew. And I remember, in your mind, him growing up as a little teeny kid, and then you playing around with him, just doing a few things, trying to help him out. And you see him become, a man. But to see someone so young no longer here with us, it just, you don't know what tomorrow holds. I mean, you really don't. All these grudges we hold against each other, or negative feelings, or, there's no reason for it. We have a finite amount of time here. And if we could just learn to let that stuff go and enjoy our time here and enjoy it with the people, that we care about, or even people, we don't even know that we could get to know, it just, you need to enjoy life a little bit. And if you can enjoy it and spend time with others, that's what life's really all about, because we only have that one here. So we need to make the most of it. Don't always say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or yeah, we'll do that later on. If you have the ability to do it, try and do it now, because you might not have that tomorrow, or they might not have that tomorrow. I don't mean this as a negative thing. I want it to be a positive thing. Take that time, enjoy the life you're given, and enjoy it with the people you love. That's all I got to say today.
Well, thanks, Retmus. And by the way, we're very sorry for your loss, pal.
Yeah. Jeez.
Thank
That's
you.
a real stinker of a deal to hear. But yeah, hopefully everybody takes the positive away from that. And yeah. So thank you once again, pal. We appreciate it. All right, Biff.
Yeah, so I'll piggyback off that just in a positive way as well. I've been recently asked to be on a podcast with just a world's leader in her industry to tell a very heartbreaking story of someone that died well too young. When I lost, my wife's only child, my stepson, and what that process was like and how you get back. But one of the things that they asked me to share was, what do I want to promote? What message do I want to send by talking about this great heartbreak, like Retpmus's nephew? Oh, just breaks my heart. The one thing I'll tell you to piggyback off what Retmus said about doing things in the day, in the moment, when you can, don't sweat the small stuff. That's the one thing I learned from that, going through that horrible time. When you let go of the little things, life becomes a lot more meaningful. And as Retmus said, we only got one shot at this, depending on what religion you are. Just don't sweat the small stuff. If there's one thing in life that just makes you happier and makes you a better father, mother, brother, sister, husband, wife, person, teammate, don't let the small stuff get you down. Because trust me when I tell you, you're going to have some big stuff at some point, and you need to save your energy for that.
I agree. Well said, buddy. Well said. And with that, I think I will turn it over to Witty Amazon for the last word. You do it now.
Yeah, I want to finish on a positive note. It was great being with you guys again. I know I've been away for a long time, but this has been my second episode in a row. So let's keep up a good streak. And being a part of this episode and just discussing movies and TV are always an easy way to connect with one another and with the audience as well. And it ended up being quite fun. And the cherry on top of the cake was that everyone thought that Wonder Woman was the best movie from DC. I did mistake you. I'm sure you would have some good picks, or not. They might have gone with Superman, just like Retpmus did. But I mean, he would be. It would have been fun to have him here and discuss movies with us. Hopefully, he'll be around for next time. Missed you, buddy.
Superman 1, 2, and 3 was his list. Big spoiler.
No, Man of Steel. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
probably. I hope not.
But yeah, no. Hopefully Sect2 comes in here next time. And by the way, I haven't figured out what my or what I want to assign you guys this next episode is going to be. But I'll have to put my terrible brain on it. Unless you guys have suggestions. No.
This is your brainchild.
Oh no. I don't have a brain.
You come up with it.
We could do TV shows next time.
Yeah.
We could do TV shows. Yeah, we could do TV shows. Okay. Let me put my thought brain on that for a minute, because I think I had discussed the possibility of doing just Batman TV shows because there's so damn many of them. But
I think opening it up.
We
to
can
everything.
open it up to everything, right?
Yeah. Then we get different perspectives.
Yeah. Okay. TV series, and I'm sure there's going to be TV series that some of us have never seen before. I'm in that category. Have I have seen all of Titans? No, I certainly have not. Have I seen Doom Patrol? No, I have not. But I'm sure one of you has.
Yes, to
right?
both.
I'm sure Witty probably has as well. So
I've seen Titans.
You've seen
Doom
Titans?
Patrol never caught my eye.
Yeah, no, I didn't go for Doom Patrol, but I went for Titans.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I haven't
Doom Patrol
seen
surprisingly good.
Well,
that robot always bothered me. I don't like him.
It grows on you. It grows on you.
No, I just don't like him. He showed up in Titans, and I was like, what the hell is this guy? This is like, am I watching freaking Empire Strikes Back, or am I watching Titans right now?
Yeah. Well, anywho, I think it's time we wrap this puppy up and teach you guys some English lessons next time on Double AD.
Yeah, I wasn't warned that I need to know what an adverb was.
We want to thank all of you for taking the time to be with us today. Get on our website, AtlantisAfterDark.com. Grab some cool swag from the merch store. Get on Discord, talk directly with us, and then hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. For BIFF, for Retpmus, for Witty, we'll see you all right here next time for another fantabulous episode of Adverb-Filled Double AD. So long, adjectives. A noun or an adjective.
In
I know
Retpmus's
what an
words,
adjective
crap.
and a noun and a
Crap.
verb are.
Crap.
Recording stopped.